out, played hard. I thought the game was right where we wanted it. We wanted to push the game forward, make it close, obviously, as we went forward, and felt like we came out with great energy. And you know, what is it, 7-3 at half, pretty even in terms of possession time, points, etc. Third quarter goes to 7-6, and I thought the punter did an excellent job. I think we were down inside the 5, I believe 5 times. It was tough coming out. Made the decision to go with Rocky in the second half, or really at the end of the first half. Thought he did a nice job initially there. Had some problems as the game wore on. You know, it's still 7-6, but goes to 9-6. I think you guys know what happened. Went to 9-6, and then with the safety, and then we kicked it out of bounds. We did stop him, but he punched the ball right back down to our 1, I believe, and then we fumbled it in the fourth quarter. So, you know, for a touchdown. So tough deal. But the turnovers killed us in the fourth quarter. 3 turnovers, and tough to win a football game if you have 3 turnovers as it is. We did survive one of them, but they picked up 10 points on the other ones. And I'll take some questions, but proud of the way our guys came out and the energy. But you can't make mistakes and expect to win. And you got to credit Ohio State. They're a football team that's gone through a lot this season as well, and they played very well. Their inability to run the football, you know, crops up. Our inability to get a consistent pass rush. He's got too much time to throw back there. We did sack him a couple times early. Too much time. I thought our defense played very, very well, with the exception of that aspect. And some of that's just protection by them. But I'll take questions. We'll go from there.
Chris.
Mark, kind of going back to that punt snap out of the end zone, what was the decision-making process with that? And I guess,
well, we're down by 1. We're down by 1, 7-6. We're on our 4th punter. He's our 4th team punter. We may have the most depth at punter in the nation. So he's, you know, William Princip is his name, in case anybody wants to know. You know, Williams never punted before until this game, and I felt like coming off the goal line with only a 10 yards between the snap and the punter, there's an opportunity for the punt to be blocked, and it's a 1 field goal game. And I felt like our defense was playing well enough. We get the kick down there, which we did, and they were on the 35-yard line. I think that you know, we're playing well enough to stop them and get the ball back and go from there. We did stop them, but after we kicked the ball out of bounds, they got the ball to 50, it drove about 15 yards, and then punted it back down to the 1. So that was the thought process. I didn't want him to handle the ball, nor did I want to take a timeout to tell our offense we're going to kneel on it. So I just told her snap through the end zone. And even with that, William asked me, should I catch it? I said no. This is different. It's difficult for him. You know?
But this was one of those games that you could tell that special teams was a big part.
It's a huge part of it. Huge part. And I thought he did a nice job punting. You know, he had some big punts there for big yardage. You know, the last punt he had was sort of flat, and they got the ball to 50 and drove it down for their final touchdown. But I thought he did an outstanding job for never having punted in a college football game. It's quite a feat, I would say.
Mark, the decision to go back to Brian in the fourth quarter, was it your decision? And can you explain to us just the reasoning, the thought process?
Yeah, you know, I thought Rocky was hotter initially in the second half. I thought he had some situations coming off the end zone, and again, it goes back to our inability to run the ball consistently, with any consistency. So we're throwing it off the end zone, and I thought he was, first of all, you know, he'd missed some targets, and then this is nice. This is par for the course. There it is, right there. Par for the course. That'll make the internet. I just felt like, you know, he had the pitch on the back shoulder of the tailback on the option. He had not hit some passes. He also had the fumble in the end zone where it was a miscommunication. And, you know, so I felt like, hey, we got to try and swing it up again, create some more motion and try and go back the other direction. So I thought Brian made a couple throws, and then he got hooked by the back of the helmet or whatever, got pressure through the pick. So is what it is. But I thought we played the quarterback situation as well as we could have with respect to both quarterbacks.
Mark, I know injuries are a part of it, but other than last week, it's been a struggle all year offensively. How frustrated are you with the offense?
Well, we got a lot of guys not playing. You know, Darryl Stewart was out. You know, Nader was out. Matt Allen's out. Beadle's out. Luke Campbell's out. Gone through a lot of different wide receivers and such things of that nature, but we still got to show up. LJ's out. Still got to show up. We got to be able to run the ball with some type of efficiency. Even last week, we went over. You know, we rushed the ball over 40 times, and you know, we had some success. The week before that against Purdue, over 40 times, some success. So we were unable to do that today because we've got situations again where it's, you know, you throw it on first down, becomes 2nd and 10. You know, you're sort of in a bind a little bit. So so those are the type of decisions you're having to make back there. You know, when you're calling plays and things of that nature, it's not easy. It's not easy to call plays off the goal line. You know, such is life sometimes. But we've got to be able to run it.
Mark, at the middle here.
To do that, you got to win up front, and at the tight end position, and at the wide receiver position, and at the running back position, because it's all encompasses all those groups, not just the offensive line.
You talk about field position, how important it was, and the job that their punter Drummond did, but is there anything, rule of thumb is, behind the 10-yard line, Brandon lets it go? Is there an adjustment to be made there? Is it just good execution?
No, I don't think you can ask your punt return guy to catch the ball on the 4 or 5 yard line. I just think, you know, the ball's bouncing on the 6 or the 4. He's got his heels at the 10. It's sort of an unwritten rule to us, and always has been in football, that unless he booms them, but you know, they're kicking from they're on top of us right there. You got to catch the football. We want a fair catch on the 6. I don't think we want to really start doing that. So the odds are the ball should bounce in the end zone more often than not. But you know, they did a great job, and I do think they held it. You know, we were put in situations where punt safe a number of times because it's 4th and 4 or whatever, 4th and 5. It's punting from the 40 or 50, and you have limited rush on the punter, so he holds it, so the guys get down there faster, and he put it up there. So give him credit for that. That's part of the game. But to go back and say, hey, should we rush the punters? You know, then you're sitting there, you know, opening up possible fakes and things of that nature. And you know, the odds are probably that their gunners are still getting down there, who their guys are making the plays.
Mark, the fake play in the third quarter there where Rocky threw to Cody and he threw too. Was there another option for Cody off that? Because he looked like he was going to come back to third.
Yeah, it was a throwback to the quarterback. It's a throwback to the quarterback, and it was a throwback screen to the quarterback. So the linemen were going downfield. And I think they sort of held. I think Jarvis was downfield, you know, a little too far. But so he, you know, ad-libbed and went down the field to Sokol, and but we had linemen down the field.
And how much do you think that play kind of changed the momentum there? Because that would have put you guys in front, and you know, obviously.
Oh yeah, that would have put us in front. It would have been a big momentum changer. I think it was the right time to call trick play. They hadn't defended. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. I think we called two or three of the day, and they didn't work. But that being said, I think the major turning point in the game was that after the fumble, having the punt back down to the 1 yard line, we're starting the fourth quarter. I believe starting the fourth quarter, and you know, we're throwing it coming out, and you know, the direct snap hits the wide receiver in the chest, in the shoulder, and you know, it's a miscommunication on the snap count. So those things happen, you know, but they can't happen today on the 1 yard line when it's 9-6. So, next question.
Jack. Mark, you talked about wanting to run it 40 times a game, how important that is as a goal. Ohio State ran it 45 times for fewer yards per carry than you had, but with 18 rushes and 48 passes, can you win with that kind of balance?
No, I don't think you can. I don't. I mean, it's tough to say that because you're sitting here, but you know, you're forced into situations at times too where you got to throw it, especially when you get behind at the end. I don't think you know, a couple of those were quarterback runs, and you know, the big play was a quarterback run that we had. So it makes it much more difficult. You're right. And, you know, Ohio State had a very difficult time running the ball. I think the first half, maybe they have 7 yards or something, or 2 or whatever. And as the game wore on and they ground the clock in the fourth quarter, I think the majority of their yards were in the fourth quarter probably. And we were getting worn down. But that's not enough plays when you look at it. The number of plays, the possession time, all that points towards those turnovers. And points towards coming off the end zone, going 3 and out, which I think we did maybe 3 times or a couple times.
One follow-up to that, Mark, you mentioned L.J. Scott not being available. I think he was up in the stands area there. And you talked about the possibility of a red shirt being in play.
Yeah.
Is that still the case?
Yeah, it is. It's still a case to, we're probably going to redshirt him. That's what it looks like. Well, we are going to redshirt him. I think he's been in and out, and you know, couldn't finish the Purdue game. So, you know, it's one of those things. You know, you have an opportunity for him to come back, get his degree. He wants to do that and get himself right to play his final season at Michigan State. So, you know, that's the decision we make with 3 games left. You know, even though this is an important game and everything, you know, when you put it on him, hey, this is it. Now, if you play in this game and you get hurt, this is it. You know, and if you're sitting down and thinking about it, he and his family made the decision to redshirt, which is I support.
One last one in front, Chris.
Mark, I guess when you see, especially the defensive-minded coach, when you see what the defense did today, what is the level of frustration with what the offense is going through and not being able to put the points up?
Sure, you know, that's always the case. My message to our football team is don't point fingers. Make sure that we're all accountable in this. There's the things that we can do, whether it's a defense or an offense, you know, jump off sides and give them the ball, give them a first down, then they're punting down to the 2 instead of punting from their 30. So there's a lot of little things that you can look at, but the message to our football team is stay together and stay close, make sure there's no problems, and take the next step. We have 2 games left. We go to Nebraska next week. They're an improved football team. We need to look forward. You know, it was very I like the way our football team came out. I like the way we competed. We got to play better in certain situations, and you just can't turn the ball over, guys. I mean, you know, coming off the 1 yard line, taking the safety is like a turnover. But I felt like we needed to do that because of our situation at punter and everything else going on there. I mean, they're probably going to get the ball at about the 30, and you know, probably have an opportunity to kick a field goal. Then you'll be asking, why didn't you take the safety? So. You know, that was a decision I made, but then after that, you can't go 3 straight turnovers, I believe. You know, that kills you.
All right, thanks, Bert.